And happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by American Contractor Show, Atlas Roofing, Premier Claims, as well as Merlin Law Group. Thank you guys for sponsoring our video. So let's get right into our weather headlines. Pretty quiet across the country overall, but we do have some areas of rain and snow that will be impacting parts of the Northwest as well as parts of the Midwest and the Northeast. We'll talk about that. And then, like I just said, more rain and snow will be impacting parts of the Midwest into the Northeast today, as well as getting into the next few days. And then finally, some severe weather to potentially talk about getting into the end of our weekend into next week. We'll look at that briefly as we're still about a week out from all of that. But before we get into our forecast, we do have our Raising Hail Tour that's been going on for the last few weeks. We do have one going on today in Denver, and then as we get into March, we have one on the 4th in Omaha, Nebraska, and then closing it out in Orlando, Florida on March 11th. So if you're interested in going to these last two shows, you could go to our Facebook page and go and purchase tickets. And if you use this QR code, RHT Taylor 10, you can get $10 off of your tickets. So here are yesterday's storm reports. Was surprised, another quiet day, another day of not a whole lot going on. But yeah, just a lot of rain and snow just continuing to fall here. We did have a few wind reports, but nothing too crazy, as well as here in Florida. And then I believe as we get into the further north here, we had some more subsevere activity. But again, nothing too crazy, just another February day here in the United States. And if you haven't noticed, we have warmed up. Finally, the last few days have been really nice. And the departure from normal here in terms of our temperatures, we are way above average for most of the country, a little bit below average here in Florida as well as the Northwest. As we get into our Wednesday, still above average for most of us here across the central part of the U.S., getting into the east, starting to get a little cooler in the Rockies, down into parts of even the Texas Panhandle. And then as we get into Thursday, we are expecting a bit of a cold front to come through Wednesday. So our temperatures Thursday will cool down a little bit from the Ohio Valley down into Texas and New Mexico, staying above average though north of this region, basically from Kansas northward to the Dakotas and Montana. And so, yeah, let's take a look at what's going on across the lower 48 currently. We do have high pressure still in control across the central United States, giving us plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures. It's really nice out there today here in Oklahoma City, where temperatures are in the 70s, but we do have a few areas that aren't quite as nice. So let's take a look at that. I believe first is in Florida, some showers in parts of the eastern parts of the state. We do have a little bit of a low pressure spinning off the coast of Florida. You can see that counterclockwise spin with that low. And then moving off to the north, we have a bit of a cold front that is pushing on through the northeast, giving us some heavier rain and some snow in those higher elevations, and even some rain and snow out in the Dakotas. And we have some heavier rain and snow falling here in parts of Washington State. Seattle, unfortunately, is another yucky day out there for you guys. And again, some more rain and snow showers across parts of the Northwest. So zooming on out, taking a look at our temperatures. Like I said, it's really nice here in Oklahoma City, where it's currently 73, some more lower 70s for us in Dallas, eastward into Atlanta. 63 down in Houston. You go north though, and with those with that cold front, as well as that little clipper system. Moving on into parts of the northern parts of the country, temperatures are only in the 30s and 40s. So here are current alerts. Not a whole lot going on, but again, a few areas that we are watching for some unsettled weather. We have some winter storm warnings, as well as some winter weather advisories out for that snow that is falling in the higher elevations. We can get up to double digits here with basically over a foot, and this is until 4 p.m. today. And then some winter weather advisories out again in purple until 11 p.m. And then we have some high wind warnings out for these tan colors, and those are in those will expire at 11 p.m. local time as well, where we can see gusts up to 75 miles per hour with that. And then if I scoot out of the way here, we have some more high wind warnings, as well as some red flag warnings out for 40 mile per hour wind gusts. And the red flag warnings basically means that it's pretty dry. So when those wind gusts start to kick up, we have those chances to get some wildfires sparked. So keep that in mind if you're in any of those areas. And then just zooming on out to take a look at the country. Basically, those are the only areas that have those alerts. Across the rest of the country, besides the rain in the northeast, it's a relatively quiet day overall. So let's take a look at a few trouble areas for today. We're going to go to the northeast first. Again, some heavier rain and some snow in the higher elevations. We'll be moving into, again, right now it's into New York. That will continue to push off to the east as we get into the rest of this afternoon and evening, and pushing into Maine as we get into later on this evening. This is at 7:30 Eastern time. And then some more rain and snow with this next little clipper system in the Dakotas getting into Minnesota. As we get into basically the overnight hours, this activity in the northeast will start to move off to the east and enter Canada. And some rain and snow will push off to the east and enter Wisconsin. And then moving out into the northwest, again, we have those winter storm warnings, those winter weather advisories out for that heavy rain and snow in the higher elevations. That will continue to fall as we go through the rest of today. So Washington State, Idaho, Montana, looks like it's going to be another wintry mess for you today. But then as we get into tomorrow morning, this will start to dissipate quite rapidly, and it should be at least a little bit of a better day for you guys tomorrow. So zooming on out, taking a look at our future conditions over the next few days. So this is for tomorrow. We're going to wake up, clearing out in the northeast. That clipper system that is in the northern plains today will move into the Great Lakes region tomorrow, bringing us some more rain and snow. Some light lingering snow showers possible here in Montana. As we go through the rest of the day tomorrow, that clipper will move off into more of the Great Lakes, getting into the northeast. And then another little clipper will come on south from Canada and give us some more snow in parts of Minnesota as we get into the overnight hours on Wednesday, getting into Thursday morning. And then we could see some light rain and maybe some drizzle from Oklahoma down into Dallas with that weak cold front that's going to be pushing on through on Wednesday evening. And then as we get into Thursday, more of the same here in the northeast, some rain and snow, as well as some rain down in parts of the southeast, getting into Texas. And you can see some more rain starting to show up here, entering the western parts of the country early Thursday morning. And so getting into Thursday and into our weekend, the clippers will continue to push off into the northeast. And then as we get into our Friday, here comes another one, just clipper after clipper after clipper, starting to move into parts of the northern plains, into the Great Lakes, into the northeast, and keeping an eye on some systems off the coast of California as we get into our Saturday, slowly but surely moving on in. some more snow possible in parts of Colorado as we get into Saturday night. And yeah, we're going to now talk about our future jet stream. So overall, no severe weather is anticipated for the rest of the work week and getting into the beginning of our weekend. But as we get into the end of our weekend, getting into the early next week, there are some areas that we need to keep an eye on. So we're still a week out, so it's a long way out in the weather world, but there are a few areas that we need to keep an eye on and see if these, don't really change a whole lot in terms of areas. But yeah, again, we're still a week out, but taking a look at our jet stream with those clippers bringing that colder air for the northeast. And yeah, it's just another clipper after clipper like I mentioned. But here we go on Friday morning. There's a little off the coast of California that will start to push off to the east as we begin our Saturday. And here we go on Sunday. This is the first low that we'll be keeping an eye on. It looks to be relatively weak right now, but then as we get into Monday, that one will push off to the east. We could see some severe weather with this. And then as we get into our Tuesday, this little short wave looks a bit stronger right now. So again, a few areas that we're going to be watching as we get into the beginning of next week. We will keep you tuned here at Hail Trace as we get closer to that time frame. And here is our instability. Again, still almost a week out. So this is on Sunday at 5 p.m. We do have some instability showing up for central Oklahoma down into Texas. So that's something that we need to watch. And as we get into Monday, that area shifts off to the east. So parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, down into far southern Texas, there'll be some instability present. And then getting into our Tuesday, we kind of get a reset and more instability setting up for us for mostly southern Texas, getting into Louisiana, even a little bit here in Florida. As we get warmer, it's not uncommon to see those pop-up showers and storms. So we'll see what happens with that. But this is our main concern. As we get into Tuesday and then Wednesday, you can see those brighter colors starting to show up with this model with the instability. So again, we're still a week out from this. A lot of things can change, but it's definitely something to watch. And then as we get into Wednesday evening, you can see that instability is still present there. So, like I mentioned earlier, we're finally warming up. We are going to be above freezing, thankfully, for most of us. Denver, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Chicago, as well as Minneapolis. We don't have to worry about any, sub-freezing Arctic tundra stuff as we go through the rest of the week. A little bit cool, of course, as we get into the overnight hours. Well, we'll drop below freezing, but during the day, it looks like we're warming up quite nicely. And in terms of our future temperatures, as we wake up tomorrow, temperatures will be still quite nice, 48 in Oklahoma City at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, more 50s and 60s across the south, staying cool though in the north with those clipper systems moving on through. And then warming up to about 60 tomorrow in Oklahoma City. So not as warm as we'd have a little bit of a cold front that will be pushing on through, but staying warm in the south. And then getting into Thursday, getting into the lower to mid 60s again here in parts of, here in Oklahoma City, down into Dallas, staying in the 70s right along the southeast, down into the far south, warming up a bit as well in the central part of the U.S. And then as we get into our Friday, we start to rebound with our temperatures getting into the 70s once again here in Oklahoma City, staying cool though in the northeast. So in terms of our temperature outlook, this is from the March 2nd to the 6th, above average temperatures are expected for most of us here in the central U.S. all the way down to the Gulf, basically. We could see some near average to below average temperatures, though, in the northeast as well as in the west. So can't complain. We're not full of blue like we saw, over the last few weeks. So at least that's some good news there. And then in terms of our extended rain outlook for that same time frame, it looks like we're going to be wetter than average across most of the country. So like we've been doing for the last few weeks, we're going to be closing out with a reminder for our Raising Hail tour. If you have not already and you want to go and see what we're thinking for 2025, if you're in the Omaha area or the Orlando area, make sure you go and purchase your tickets. You don't want to miss this. And if you want to get $10 off of your tickets, make sure you go and use that RHT Taylor 10 code when you go and purchase your tickets, and you can get $10 off. So that's all I have for you today. I know another very fun forecast, but you know, things could be changing as we're getting into March, so you don't want to miss anything. So make sure you follow us on X or Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you hit Facebook, yeah, you guys know what to do. And then we also have a QR code above if you want to get set up with a demo. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hailtrace.com and check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday.